kid hooked me up with some music people. I never really followed through. I guess it wasn't really happening for me at that point. This dude Coffee, and he hooked me up with him. I went out to Long Island. I did a track with him. It sounded really good. I mean, I remember I loved that track, you know. I can't even remember how it sounded. I don't know if I was using one of my written rhymes or if what I had was more freestyles. I think it was written.
Do get nervous?
I think it was
like a surgeon knife this incision. I slid in this rhythm, blessing this lesson in the form of a song. Navigator, guide me from the storm. From the news I'm warned, I seen families torn from Kosovo, Grenada, Rwanda. World trade to Littleton dropped like a ton of effing bricks. I feel knees queasy, nauseous, sick in my stomach. I seen how they done it. They create confusion, the masses they using to all them fat cats. We be lab rats, massive experiment to the wicked mesmeriment and the so-called elite. They don't want a safe street. They rather you locked and shocked and rocked inside cages. It's outrageous. Take a look at the planet they gave us, their false saviors. And that was a definitely call it Jesus Christ at that time. And at that point in my life, I was definitely a full-fledged atheist. In some ways, I had completely rejected the Christian church, specifically the Irish Roman Catholic established church. You know, Roman Catholic, but, you know, I mean, it was the Irish kind of thrust of the situation that made it what it was. So anyway, I had completely rejected that. I had been studying some Buddhist material on my own. I would never have studied it probably if it hadn't kind of backdoored in on me on this whole New Age concept, which was funny because I think if you actually looked at the development in terms of that thought process, I had completely rejected Catholicism, and as a young person, I actually embraced Satanism, Xander LaVey, and all that stuff. I mean, I was into heavy metal, death metal. I hadn't even gotten into the rap stuff yet. So, and I was almost taking it on as a form of, I mean, aggression, anger, whatever. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't recognize it necessarily as spirituality. But it's funny because in a way that did open me up to a kind of a New Age thought type process, which basically opened me up to a lot of other stuff too. And there was this one particular book that was on my mother's shelf that she didn't really talk much about, and it was called Shambhala. I used to call it Shambhala at that point because it was this Three Dog Night song called On the Way to Shambhala. And in that song, Shambhala is Shangri-La. It's like, you know, it's kind of like heaven, you know, like it's like a Christian's heaven, you know. So anyway, so I read this book, and you know, there was nothing too otherworldly in the book. It's funny if you read the first chapter of this book when it goes into the history. I mean, it's pretty edgy stuff. In terms of where he's saying these things come from, connected me to what was being said and the meaning that really kind of basically made it something that I could actually devote my life to. Brain was find out what's real, what makes sense, what adds up, what don't, what you need to discard, and how you need to kind of form it. There's a certain level of creating like belief outside of the boundaries of your brain in order to progress in terms of your own understanding. It's like you know, I don't even know where this theory is coming from right now, but as it starts to evolve, like basically you have to extend the boundaries of your belief just a little bit, stretch it just a little bit, and then from that base develop understanding of the thought, work it out. This is almost like, I'm thinking of it almost as if like a scientific method of brain. I know Ken Wilber talks about the spiritual injunction and tries to talk about, basically attempts to talk about spirituality in a purely scientific form. Another person that I recently came across that really kind of talks in this kind of way, and granted I don't fully know or understand. I mean, he does talk about reincarnation. Rudolf Steiner was another one that came across with this kind of scientific method of investigating spirituality that speaks to me in a language that makes sense. I mean, it's beautiful to have this scientist, and then to use such eloquent words and like a spiritual researcher. I mean, I never heard the word, the combination of those two words before, and immediately when I heard it, it was like, holy, that's me. That's what I've been doing. And what seems fairly clumsy in the last, well, now it's going on 20-something years that I've been implanting this stuff in my brain in various forms, testing it out, trying to kind of relate. We'll see how much of this stuff makes the cut. I think I cut it off when I sat it down, so some of that stuff was missed. So it's funny, some of the stuff is just disappeared. So like in my mind, I'm thinking I'm telling you this stuff. Some of this stuff is going to get cut, and then I have no idea who's watching and how they're relating and what's happening there. I mean, the feedback is somewhat minimal. You know, I got certain people, and the feedback is strongly powerful. I'm thinking if maybe I could take the exposure to another level and kind of expand the base of who's seeing it, then what might happen is that the feedback might come back greater. Or if I just keep putting out the gimme feedback vibe, you know, like give me feedback. Maybe I'll cut right before I say that, cut right about a little bit maybe after here, and just be like, give me feedback, cut. You got it? I want to know. So watch the other videos and see what's going on. Alright. The other thing I wanted to say, I may have even mentioned in another video, because I did speak for like half an hour, 40 minutes, and I love the concept, and it really fits into this, was when Tommy told me the story about Buckminster Fuller using having like an 8-track machine, and as he would talk, he would click the track that he was discussing that topic, and then as his mind went into another area of thought, he would just merely click the other track. And then he would just continue to talk in this kind of progressing fashion, but he was able to kind of keep these 8 separate conversations going on simultaneously, and then save them for recording for future use as the separate tracks. So I love that idea. I learned it from this artist, book guy out here, who showed me that, and it's awesome, you know. I mean, I need to get an 8-track machine, you know, an 8-track video superstar switch out. So anyway, you know, I'd like to get more into the anger, the whole atheism, my spiritual development, you know, get into what I want to do with this channel, how I want to interact more directly with people. Career is something that's been on me. I got a retreat coming up. I'll be gone for about a month. I'll be good and steeped in stability, and we can just, you know, grant each other, acceptance as much as we can, you know. I mean, I can grant to accept my situation, and at the same time accept my ability to change it and to progress as a human being, as this incarnation of matter, you know, or whatever, you know. So, like I said, I did touch on a lot. It was kind of coming out. I was kind of not doing the best I can.